Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are going to peek behind the curtain of something, well, almost everyone experiences, the American school cafeteria.
Right. It definitely brings back memories, doesn't it? Maybe that mystery meat or the classic tray pizza.
Exactly. But beyond those memories, there's this huge reality. We're talking about a system serving, what, nearly 5 billion lunches a year?
4.9 billion, roughly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a staggering number. And, that represents a massive amount of money changing hands.
Absolutely. So our mission today is really to uncover the multi-billion-dollar industry that's actually fueling all those meals.
Mm-hmm.
We want to track how these big food brands, the ones you see in the grocery store,
Yeah.
get into selling through massive government contracts.
And what that really means for the, 30 million kids eating those lunches every school day.
Yeah,
If you're interested in where public health meets big finance, this is ground zero.
it really is.
This dive is all about the money, the contracts, the influence needed to sometimes even shape nutritional guidelines.
We're going to trace this whole journey, right? From its sort of charitable roots
Yeah, way back.
to this highly capitalized system we have now, where somehow a slice of pizza can meet federal requirements. It's kind of amazing.
It is pretty amazing how the system is structured. Okay, so let's dig into that history a bit, because it really did start from a good place.
Right, purely benevolent. You mentioned way back 1853, Children's Aid Society in New York.
That's the one, an informal program just trying to feed kids in need.
Yeah.
But the real institutional awareness came a bit later.
Okay.
By the 1890s, schools were becoming more like social hubs. You had doctors, nurses in schools, and they started documenting this widespread malnourishment.
So they realized hungry kids can't really learn.
Exactly, you have to feed them first. It became pretty obvious.
So Congress steps in around 1935, and they found this clever solution using surplus farm products.
Yeah, things like pork, dairy, wheat. It was politically kind of perfect. Farmers needed to sell their surplus.
And schools needed food. Win-win.
Total win-win. And that idea got formalized later, in the 40s, with the National School Lunch Act. That's when public money really started funding it on a large scale.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting, right? You mentioned the U.S. model was different from, say, Europe's. It had a businessy feel from the start.
Absolutely. Even really early on, they used things like little tokens, coins, tickets for the meals.
Even for kids getting free lunch, they still use tickets.
Yep. That transactional piece was built in. It maintained this idea of an exchange, a transaction.
Why was that so important here?
Well, it seems the U.S. system was always seen as this managed program. It needed accounting, needed transactions to justify spending public money. It wasn't just pure charity once the feds got involved.
Huh.
And that structure, that framework, really set the stage for, everything that came after.
Interesting. So it wasn't just smooth sailing. Restaurants pushed back.
Oh, yeah. Early on, restaurant owners actually sued some school districts. They argued the schools were stealing their business. Yeah. Though usually, the court sided with the schools. But it shows that commercial tension was there from the beginning.
Okay, so that early business model, the tokens, the transactions, it laid the groundwork. Let's fast forward a bit. By, say, 2017, a huge number of kids were relying on these lunches, right?
A huge number. It climbed to 73% of kids getting free or reduced price lunch.
73%.
Yeah. And when you have that level of demand, millions of meals needed every single day, it changes everything. It becomes a massive business opportunity.
And that's when the how changes. Schools couldn't keep up with scratch cooking.
Right. Budgets are tight. Labor is an issue.
Hmm.
So the system shifted. It moved towards these enormous factory-prepared meals.
Pre-portioned, just heat and serve, basically.
Exactly. Super streamlined. And that efficiency, that created the opening for the big industrial food companies.
Okay, enter the lobbyists, because now there's serious government money on the table, and companies want a piece of it.
Precisely. And you have different players involved in trying to maximize their slice of that pie.
Who are the main ones?
Well, you've got advocates for the schools and the industry itself, like the School Nutrition Association, the SNA, which is really powerful, and the National School Boards Association.
Okay.
Then you have the big corporations directly involved. Think Tyson, PepsiCo, the big dairy groups. They're all there at the policy meetings. Chafing face, as one source put it, making their presence known.
Making sure their interests are heard.
Definitely. And thankfully, you also have watchdog groups, like the Food Research Action Center, trying to keep an eye on the nutritional side of things.
It reminds me of that rule, whenever the government spends a lot of money on something,
The sellers of that something get very interested in making sure the government keeps spending or spends more. Absolutely.
And school lunch is just a perfect example of that.
It really is. And this pressure, keep costs incredibly low, but still meet these nutritional guidelines. It leads to some, let's say, creative interpretations of nutrition.
Ah, the ketchup controversy, 1981, right?
The infamous ketchup incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Reagan administration wanted to cut about $1 billion from the school lunch budget.
$1 billion. So the USDA had to figure out how to make cheaper meals still count.
Yeah. And their proposed solution was, well, a bit nuanced. They didn't just say ketchup is a vegetable.
Okay, what was the actual mechanism?
They proposed that things like pickle relish, or critically, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, which is the main ingredient in ketchup and lots of sauces, could count towards the vegetable serving requirement.
So it was about volume, using cheap, concentrated ingredients to meet the serving size?
Exactly. A way to cut costs while technically checking the box.
Public backlash stopped that specific one, though.
Oh, yeah, it was reversed pretty quickly. But that underlying pressure, that incentive to stretch definitions because of budgets and lobbying, that never went away.
So what does that look like now? Still happening?
Absolutely. It's why things like frozen potato wedges, often pretty processed, are still on the USDA's official list of creditable vegetables for these programs.
And the pizza sauce thing is still around, too.
Oh, yes. Specific formulations of school pizza sauce can still count as a vegetable serving. It's a loophole the industry works hard to maintain.
How does that pizza loophole actually work, like mechanically?
It's still about that volume requirement. If the USDA says you need, say, half a cup of vegetables,
Yeah.
the manufacturers just reformulate the sauce to contain enough concentrated tomato paste to meet that volume, even if it's mostly paste and sugar.
So they can serve pizza, which kids love and is profitable.
Right. High margin, easy to serve.
And still tick the vegetable box.
Exactly. It meets the letter of the law, maybe not the spirit, but it works for tight budgets and logistical ease.
And the big food brands got really smart about this, especially after the 2014 smart snack rules came in. They basically make special school-only versions.
They do. If they want that guaranteed market of millions of kids, they create products specifically tailored to meet those USDA fat, sodium, sugar limits. Almost every major company has a separate school catalog.
We saw this example, right? A Frito-Lay snack, like chips.
Yeah, the analysis compared a special edition sold in schools versus the regular store version.
And the school one had, what, less sugar and more vitamin C?
Something like that. Maybe 7 grams of sugar and 25% vitamin C in the school version versus 10 grams of sugar and only 10% vitamin C in the store one.
So is the goal really health, or is it brand exposure?
I mean, the primary driver seems to be brand exposure.
Yeah.
Get the kids familiar with Doritos or Tyson chicken nuggets or Domino's pizza in the cafeteria.
So they ask for it outside of school.
Exactly. It's high-volume, early-stage marketing, even if the product itself is slightly different.
Which leads us right into how deeply these corporations are embedded. The Domino's model is a prime example, their Smart Slice program.
Yeah. Tailor-made pizza designed specifically to meet those USDA school standards.
But it's more than just the pizza itself, right? There are incentives.
Oh yeah, huge volume incentives. Schools earn points for every pizza they buy.
And these aren't just for little trinkets, right?
No. These points can be traded for Domino's branded swag, sure, but also for actual cafeteria equipment. Things like serving carts, warming trays, stuff schools might struggle to afford otherwise.
Wow. So if a school needs new equipment, they can essentially pay for it by committing to buy Domino's pizza.
That's basically the system. Trade purchasing loyalty for needed capital items.
And Domino's is pretty open about why this works.
Yeah, they've noted it helps schools because the pizza is easy, needs less labor, and kids actually eat it, which keeps participation rates up. It solves problems for the school.
While locking in billions in revenue for Domino's.
Precisely. It's a very effective model.
And these companies like Domino's, Tyson, they're actually members of that School Nutrition Association, the SNA.
Yes, industry members. They pay dues, they advertise in SNA publications, they sponsor events.
So they get direct access to the people making decisions at the local level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Access to newsletters, local legislative contacts. It's deep integration. The companies profiting from the system are also helping shape the rules and influencing the decision makers.
It's a feedback loop.
A very effective one.
And this corporate influence, it spills out beyond the cafeteria too, doesn't it? Into the rest of the school day.
Absolutely. Think about fundraisers, Krispy Kreme reading programs, maybe. Or sponsorships for sports teams, pizza logos on scoreboards.
Right. Or those McTeachers nights where teachers work behind the counter at McDonald's.
Yeah, that one's drawn some criticism. LA School District actually ended their participation because of backlash.
But it still happens elsewhere.
It does in some places.
Yeah.
It just shows how corporate money and branding can weave its way into the entire school environment.
Okay, so let's talk impact, because the stakes here are just huge. Childhood obesity rates.
Have more than tripled since the 1970s. It's a major public health issue.
And the government is essentially responsible for feeding 30 million kids a day through this program.
Which means the nutritional quality of those meals is, well, it's critical national infrastructure, really.
Which brings us to the big reform effort in 2010, Michelle Obama's Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. The goal was solid, right? More fruits, more vegetables.
Noble goal, absolutely. Tighten up those standards.
But the results were tricky.
Well, kind of mixed, yeah. Largely because of how it played out on the ground. The good news, kids did take more fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
The bad news, they also threw away more. The proportion of waste stayed about the same, so overall food waste actually increased because more healthy stuff was ending up in the trash.
Because kids just didn't want to eat it.
Often, yeah, or weren't used to it. And schools face immense challenges implementing these things.
Right, those local constraints. We're talking tiny budgets.
Sometimes as low as $1.25 per meal, per kid.
That's incredibly low.
It is. Plus, limited kitchen facilities, maybe not enough staff training, very little time to actually prepare and serve.
So even if they want to do better, they're forced back to the processed, pre-prepared stuff just to get balanced meals out the door.
It often becomes a logistical necessity. Those factory foods are designed to meet the basic requirements easily, even if the quality isn't ideal.
But there are people trying to change that, like that chef, Dan Giusti.
Yeah, Chef Giusti. He used to be head chef at Noma, like one of the world's top restaurants.
Wow.
Now he runs this group called Brigade, working with schools to bring back scratch cooking, proving it can be done even on that super tight budget.
Challenging that whole idea that school food just has to be lousy.
Exactly. Challenging the idea that it's some kind of rite of passage to eat bad food at school.
That kind of local effort seems so important.
It's vital. Because the ultimate stakes,
Yeah.
they're just critical. For some kids, school lunch is genuinely the best, most nutritious meal they'll get all day.
And we know well-fed kids do better in school.
Absolutely. The studies are clear on that. This isn't just about filling bellies. It's directly tied to academic performance and their future.
Okay, so let's try to synthesize this. We've gone from simple charity
Right. Feeding hungry kids.
to this massive system where government pays, but corporations design, deliver, and profit hugely from the meals.
And constantly push the boundaries of nutritional standards to maximize that profit and, get their brand seen.
It's this powerful cycle. Public need meets private profit motives.
A self-perpetuating cycle, really. Which raises a pretty big question, especially thinking about how politics influences this.
Like in 2018 when the Trump administration rolled back some rules.
Exactly. They eased up on requirements for whole grains, sodium, flavored milk, gave schools more flexibility.
So the provocative thought here is, if these standards can shift so easily based on who's in power or how effectively industry lobbies.
Right. How stable or reliable are these nutritional guidelines, really? Especially for the millions and millions of kids who depend on the system every single day for potentially their main meal.
That's definitely something to think about, whether we have kids in school or to see these brands in the grocery store. A lot happening behind that lunch tray.
A whole hidden economy.
Thank you for joining this deep dive today.
Thanks for having me.